All right, guys, here we're going to talk about Ash vs. Evil Dead, Season 1, Episode 1.
We're doing it.
Yes.
We're going through it.
I love all things Evil Dead, Army of Darkness.
Yeah.
Bruce Campbell related in general. That's just like, that's my thing. So, this is the kind of show where I just walk through with a smile, enjoying it.
Yeah, and I'm the kind of person that, I simultaneously love Bruce Campbell. It's like Kevin Smith, where I'm like, I love this person, but I also feel like, should I love this? I have like a thing, right? Because a lot of other people that aren't good like him, like the same thing. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, am I just liking this because it's like a thing you're supposed to like or whatever here? But like when he's fucking the girl in the bathroom,
that face,
and she becomes the demon, and then he's like, I could finish, and he has the look on his face like he's looking around while he's fucking her. I'm like, that's so good. That's so Bruce. Right?
Indeed.
The bit with the light bulbs.
Yeah.
It's like, and it's like hurting him to pop them and go, oh no, or whatever.
No, there's
Certain
so much.
things,
There's so much good.
That's amazing.
And only like two things I think in the episode bother me in general. There's the scene where the female cop whose partner was just killed, she fires that gun that's clearly a 2-shot gun and fires like many times.
Oh.
Like that.
That bothers you?
Little things like that.
Oh.
Where it's just like, well, you didn't have to use that gun. You could have used any gun. But
Okay.
you chose to use that one, like knowing what the script was, or against the script, decided to keep firing that gun. That and the in general plot of I don't think Bruce like the show paints Bruce pretty dumb a lot of times. I don't think he would have ever read from the book. Like
that's weird, right?
Yeah,
we talked about that a long time ago.
Things like that bother me. So like this is not our first watching of.
No, and I think we might have seen this at Comic-Con.
Like, we saw the first episode of every season every year at Comic-Con. Yeah.
So like this goes way back. But I recall us discussing that. I don't think that I disagree. I think that's a fair point.
Even like when he's painted as more of like the dumber character, he's not a dumb character. He's more of like
he's supposed to be
like an ass, not an idiot.
Yeah, he's basically an anime character. Like he's supposed to be accidentally the savior of like the world.
Yeah.
And somehow through like I guess it's luck, and it's like it's not luck, baby, and like does his things or whatever. He's supposed to do that, but also be like, I told you, at some point you would consider it, and she's like, shut up, and he's like, and like slaps her ass, whatever.
That part was great.
Whatever. That's one. It's all wonderful.
Bruce Campbell has this way about him.
He's not supposed to literally be.
He can be such a perfect. Like it's a mix of cheese and charming, and just does things, and they film this in like such a great way where it does remind me of like all the old how like things get followed and the tracking. The
Sam Raimi stuff.
It's really good. It's not just in this. He did this episode, but he doesn't do any other episodes as far as I know.
Oh,
but it does follow the series.
They take the vibe of it or
they
whatever.
really picked up his style.
I watched this, but like a long time ago, so my strongest memories are of the first episodes because I watched them in public or whatever.
And I think he's like a producer or whatever. He's on everything.
It's like the team
because that's his car.
No, like I remember Army of Darkness as like a kid.
One of my favorite movies of all time.
And like that's where that style that you see in all of Raimi's like work.
Yeah.
That was the thing. There's a scene where like I remember being like a little kid where like a little kid like 17 where like you haven't thought
29
it's 28 and a half where like you haven't thought yet about how they made the movie. You just watch movies. And then certain movies at a certain phase of your life where I'm like, they put a camera on a stick and shoved it in Ash's face over and over again to get that shot of like the spear missing him and all that stuff. And I'm like, that is amazing. I remember those things like sticking with me. And then seeing it, like you're saying, like throughout. Even in like the Spider-Mans, there's stuff that happens where you're like, oh.
Army of Darkness
whips,
in particular has a
things.
fantastic like behind the scenes and how things happened and all things came together and like the mix of like skeleton puppets and ballerinas wearing skeletons and it's a real fun movie, and this definitely captures that. Like
it really does in like such a good way.
Mm-hmm.
Like even because as someone who it's only been longer since I've watched any of those things. I haven't watched those things like recently, and this made me want to go back and watch Evil Dead and Army of Darkness and all that stuff.
So like Evil Dead 1 and 2 are like almost the same movie, just a little bit better. But then like Army of Darkness is way more what this is capturing, even though this is Evil Dead because the rights and how things transfer
they even
properly.
Talked about
they
that,
couldn't. It can't be that.
Yes.
But it's wonderful.
But it's great. No,
and that's why you don't have S-Mart. You have like Value Mart or whatever it's called.
Yeah. I forgot all about that. During the first Comic-Con panel, they go in depth about that, where it's like, well, canonically, it's not actually after Army of Darkness, But it's just we just pretended that you can get to the same place by taking a lot of different routes. Everybody, like, relax. It was this weird thing. We're like, oh, okay, sweet, and then they like show it to you. I think. No, I guess they showed this the whole episode. I remember at some point seeing that clip where he like pulls the curtain and it's like Vivian, and she's there.
Yeah, the whole episode played at Comic-Con.
Yeah, I thought I saw like just that fight because that little sequence is like amazing because you're like, who are these kids?
Yes.
The like thing, stabbing, the axe, the whole top to bottom thing really captures the whole thing. The camera angles as the trailer's being assaulted, and the zooms and the weird things, and everyone's like, "Oh no!"
I love how much of a set that trailer is that he's in, because when they do certain angles, you're like, "This thing is gigantic. This is not a trailer.
Yes.
This is built for fun."
Yeah. But I wonder, so like, is he portrayed as this dumb or that dumb? Like, is him reading, getting stoned and reading from the book?
I don't believe. In
like
my
a
opinion,
one-off
that
thing,
is
right?
that is nothing like the
That's
Ashley
out of
character that we
Ash,
know.
for Ash.
I believe.
Do they keep doing that with him? Do you remember, or is that just like a one-off thing?
Oh no! Throughout the show, I believe he is portrayed multiple times as dumber or doing something dumber than I believe the character would do. But this is the Ash of the show.
30 years
and that's,
in the future,
that's
too.
what you get.
Maybe
and it's
he
always
evolved
charming
into
and
being
fun
whatever,
though.
yeah.
But like a lot of times I'm like, Ash wouldn't do that. Like, come on,
That's
man.
not an Ash
like,
thing to do.
Like Ash is like, the dude. Like he wouldn't fuck around.
Yeah.
But routinely he just like kind of throws the earth a curveball just for fun.
Sure. He's like, I'm interested to see again to like revisit.
Yeah, I haven't watched this season in quite some time. So.
No, and like I was seeing stuff that I had forgotten, and this was a great like primer. They introduce all the characters. You briefly see Ruby, Lucy Lawless is in there. She's going to come into play more as I remember. We have Lady Cop. That whole set piece is amazing with the backwards lady and like all the stuff happening.
That one made me wonder exactly what was happening there at times. Where I'm like, is this a super jointed person? Like clearly that's a mask on the, that they're wearing. But I'm like, well, how much of that is a person doing a thing
like what's going on or whatever exactly. No, and like the way they do like these days it's all digital, but like the over cranking or whatever, where like things move all weird, and you're like, oh god.
This show has a great way of actually having some scary visuals in a comedy.
Right.
Like the Lady Cop scene, like where the flashlight is spinning and you're in total darkness for a second, then it comes back to light.
Yeah.
And like it doesn't play for the jump scare, but you're like anticipating it. You're like, oh, there's gonna be something's gonna happen. Like lighting doesn't just do this, and then like it doesn't, and that subverting your expectations is actually scarier almost, because usually like the jump scare moment it's not scary, you just got jumped at. Like, but when you're waiting for a jump scare and it's not happening and then doesn't happen, you're like, oh,
it's like the it's like the tension part of it, right? It's getting into the thing and going like, what's that or whatever. And I love how part of what balances out Ash for me, I think, is that the Deadites, right?
Yes.
The Deadites kind of suck. Because, like, you would think that they would easily be able to kill anyone with their ability to possess people and whatever they're doing or whatever. But they're somehow having a problem with Ash.
Well, the Deadites get more powerful as it goes, because you are like the farthest away from the apocalypse happening now, and things just will keep ramping up, and more powerful demons will keep coming.
But the bad guys in this, like, it's a weird balance. So like I love to know the rules behind something and like exactly how something works.
The only rules are that our main cast is protected by the plot and everyone else is gonna die.
Well, there you go. That's what I'm saying. So like I like in a supernatural thing where I understand exactly how it works. So when people get possessed and I'm like, wait, if you can just possess that person, just do that with a propane tank while he's sleeping and just kill him. Like, what's the problem? Sure. But obviously that would not make as good of a show. No. They balance that by making the Deadites, when I say shitty, I mean like ineffective, but also shitty. Like they crack jokes and they fuck with the people. They're
evil and humorous.
Yeah, and like her like dead partner is even like, come on, don't kill me, and like laughing at it because he's messing with her or whatever. At the same time, like that stuff I like a lot. That stuff's great to me.
Yeah.
Where they cross that line and make it weird.
No, really, the show on the whole, it hits a lot of bases and checks a lot of boxes for what makes interesting. And there's not a lot of shows like this show.
Definitely.
Because a show like this can only survive on like a cable channel. This was a Starz, original, and like because who would even host a show like this yet? Like Starz, HBO.
Yeah.
That's kind of it.
Netflix.
Yeah, well now Netflix, Hulu, whatever could all do these things, but no, it's a world where like there's not that many things like this, just because there really couldn't be. It wasn't a profitable business model.
Not a mainstream audience or whatever. No.
Yeah.
No, I'm glad that it exists. My my lowest point, I think, like from memory, was going to be the dolls. But that was
it wasn't as bad as I remembered.
Really?
I agreed. I agree with you. Where I was like, in my head, I was like, yeah, the dolls were poorly made. But we also saw this episode originally anyway, and I think when I rewatched it, I skipped over the first one.
So maybe it's different?
So we saw it 3 months before it came out. So
Maybe
it might not have been
different.
finalized
That's
graphics when we first saw it.
Because, yeah, watching it, it felt like it was shorter and less bad, which I'm not saying that either of those things are true.
I love when it gets crushed by Pablo, and like it's bloody.
Yes, and it's all gooey. Now, the introduction of the side characters, too, is amazing. You know, this has like the pilot vibe where I think her personality changes a little going forward. But that's still fine, because things can happen that can change your personality in real life.
Definitely.
But I love, like, right from the beginning, oh, my uncle's a shaman. He's just telling me about stuff like that. It's instantly, like, I thought, like, oh, I wonder how they work all this in. Yeah. And it's just instantly, they're all in the same car. Instantly, they're all doing it. Like, at the end of this, episode, we're all primed and ready to go. Right, everything's set.
And I can't even remember. Like, I think because they do eventually. You meet the shaman uncle.
Right.
I think that's not till like season 2. So like they set that up really early, and that's a super cool thing. Which you really notice on the second time around.
Right, you got the wrong jefe or whatever, right? And even here, so like, it's not that bad, but like she says, he's like, tell your mother thank you. Like they use that as the angle for her to be like, my mother is dead. So that later when it's like, your mother's here, or like some weird, but it's like too on the nose. It isn't handled as subtly, but it's still, I appreciate the attempt.
I like how Bruce says, like, that's really rude, just setting a guy up like that. If you're not done, just take the compliment. Like,
yeah, maybe next time. It's like, whoa, and you think he might say, whoa, sorry, but he says, whoa. Next time, just say, okay, I will. Instead of dropping a bomb like that when you first meet someone, right? That's rude. Yeah, no, it's wonderful.
Yeah, those kind of lines where like Bruce can just he handles those so well.
Yeah,
he's like designed for that kind of like smarmy, like shit in your mouth kind of talk.
No, and he's really hitting it. Yeah, there's the facial expressions, him in the car, him like talking about all this stuff. There's great like comedic beats where Pablo's like, I think this is serious, and he's like, nope, like leaving or whatever.
When you compare him going out for the night singing and then him coming home singing, those two different scenarios, no, it's got a lot of good stuff.
It's good.
It's a show that I'm really sad it did not go farther.
Well, I'm interested to see where it goes, because I know that I didn't finish it, which is always a thing. I feel like it's always my fault, because sometimes like a lot of shows stop happening when I either don't like them or like stop watching them or something like that. And I didn't stop watching this show on purpose. I didn't decide that it was bad. I just ended up not getting around to it, and then I heard it has not been renewed. Yeah. I'm like, I could have been there. I could have kept it alive, but I didn't do it. So I apologize. I'm sorry, everybody.
All right, is that everything you got to say about this episode?
Oh, yeah.
All right, so that's the first episode. Let us know in the comments what you thought about it. Don't die in a fire, and we'll see you next time.
Hello, internets. I just love watching JustDaggers. If you've enjoyed this video as much as I have, click that subscribe button. Peace out, homies.